Welcome to Meathead Test Kitchen, where food and fitness come to hang out. Nutrition, training, and life. It's all fair game on Meathead Test Kitchen.
Welcome to Meathead Test Kitchen, where the love of great glutes isn't lost on us. I'm Sausha.
I'm Sadie.
And this week we're heading back into the gym and talking about all things butt.
Insert peach emoji here.
Yes. Our favorite and not so favorite, but effective movements for growing your glutes, eating for good measure, and just why having strong glutes is super important. So let's dig in, shall we?
So we're talking about butt stuff. I told my friends last night before we finished our raid, I was like, we're recording an episode tomorrow and I'm calling it butt stuff. And they're all like, really? I'm like, yeah, my 69th episode was called Nice. We were bound to have an episode called butt stuff. So here you go. Welcome to butt stuff on Meathead Test Kitchen. Let's begin quick on what is an ass? Well, it's your glutes. So what are they? By definition from the American Council on Exercise, your glutes are made up of three major muscles, the gluteus maximus, medius, and minimus. And together, these muscles serve as hip rotators, hip extensors, and lateral abductors, which moves your leg away from the middle of your body. They all come together to make your ass.
Yes. And they're all really important. So we're going to
do this a lot today.
Yeah.
talking about butts. You got to grab it in the air while you're talking about it.
And I wanted to get nerdy first because I don't think that all three of the muscles that comprise your butt are talked about enough and what exactly they do, so why they're important to train. So the gluteus maximus, obviously the largest muscle of the three. Maximus, get it? Mm-hmm. Okay. It plays a number of roles in your everyday movements and stability. So the primary function of the gluteus maximus is to extend and externally rotate the thigh. It only acts when force is necessary. These movements include rising from a sitting position, straightening from a bending position, walking upstairs or a hill, and running. I don't think that people understand how much your butt plays a role in running.
Yeah,
and effective running.
We're going to talk about that more before we get to the end of the episode.
Yes.
But yes, if you're a runner, you should be doing butt stuff.
Yes. It also acts on the pelvis, supports your pelvis and the trunk, and then that is vital, when a person is standing on one leg. So that those unilateral movements that we've covered a bunch, whether it be live or in an episode, that's why we always talk about why that's so important. The gluteus maximus also steadies the femur,
which is the biggest bone in your body, and there's no coincidence that the gluteus maximus is one of the biggest muscles in your body. Mm-hmm. Science, motherfuckers. This is how it works. Like, when you really get down to the nuts and bolts of your anatomy and why things are the way they are, they really don't make it that confusing. It's just that other people fucking muddy the waters for you. So, like, gluteus maximus, it's going to be the biggest one. Gluteus minimus, it's going to be the smallest one. The gluteus medius, it's in between.
Middle.
It actually lies underneath the maximus and moves your leg away from the midline of your body, which is where your spine is, and plays a significant role in controlling the transverse and frontal plane motion of the hip and femur. The hip and femur. Fuck it. We're making new words. Hip and femur. So that means, leg raises, lateral, all of that. Yeah. The gluteus minimus is the smallest. It's a little fan-shaped butt muscle. It abducts the leg away from the midline and helps stabilize your pelvis. So it kind of just sits there and holds all that shit together under the big muscles. Mm-hmm. And now that we've gotten the nerdy anatomy stuff out of the way,
let's jump into why you should make your glutes stronger.
Yes.
I don't know that I understand that there's like an aesthetic thing going on lately that's pretty popular. Everybody wants a plump, juicy behind.
Which is fine.
There are also a lot of things that go into making everything that you're doing in the gym stronger and more effective by having a strong backside.
And you can have fat injections in your ass cheeks, but you can tell the difference between someone that had their butt fat injected and someone that does their fucking squats. Your butt sits higher, it's firmer, it doesn't flop as much when you walk.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name names, but there are some sisters that are on TV that you can tell their asses are fake.
For sure. And most folks don't hate having a fanciful posterior, but there's more to having great glutes than just aesthetically pleasing or whatever you like, whatever, or a firm grab, you know? A strong butt can also mean better performance. So the glutes are the largest muscle and may also be the most important to train for reasons. A lot of them. And we're going to name them here in a few.
Are you an athlete? You should be worrying about what your glutes are doing in your body. If you're a golfer, if you're a baseball or a softball player, if you play hockey, it doesn't fucking matter. If you play basketball, soccer, your ass matters.
Yes. Asses matter.
Asses make the world go round.
Yes.
They really do. They really do. And if you don't have a big ass, that's okay. Some of us have flat asses genetically. You know what? I'm one of those people. It took me a really long time to build an ass that could knock stuff off a shelf. And guess what? I stopped training for a year because I hurt my knee and the motherfucker's gone. So
it doesn't mean
asses
also
come, asses go.
It also doesn't mean that just because yours isn't as prominent maybe as the person standing next to you that your glutes aren't as strong as theirs.
Yeah, just because the muscle mass isn't as big doesn't mean that you don't have strength in those muscles. Yeah. And again, that's one of those things, you can build your glute muscles. Just because you don't have a big butt now doesn't mean that you won't have one in the future. You just got, like everything, you got to work for it.
Yes.
So strong glutes are a really important component of speeding up, slowing down, changing and moving in different directions and explosive power. And I did that while I shifted in my chair and I can feel my ass cheeks like clench while I move around in my chair. They stabilize you when you're sitting. When all three muscles are activated, they're a powerhouse for everyday and athletic tasks like walking upstairs, jumping in any direction, running, walking, standing.
Yeah, they're responsible for a lot more than you think that they are. Strong glutes also reduce your risk of injury in your hips, knees, low back, groin, and your hammies. A strong butt also decreases your chances of low back pain. So when your glutes are weak, your hip flexors have to overcompensate, which can lead to compression on your lower spine, which a lot of times is what's happening when your back hurts significantly. Sometimes you're going to have low back pain when you deadlift. Yes. Sometimes you're going to have a lot more. One, probably need to bring the weight down, but you may also want to look at strengthening your butt. But if you strengthen those puppies, you're likely going to experience less pressure and reduce your risk of back injury when doing things like those deadlifts and your squats.
Yes, and as someone who used to struggle with low back pain, when I started strengthening not just my back and my legs, but my ass in the process, because you do all these posterior chain exercises and it works them all at the same time, and that's why we love compound movements. But I used to have that problem where I'd lay down at night and I couldn't lay down flat for the first 15 minutes that I was in bed because I would have that decompression pain that would come because my back was so tight because the muscles are not used to doing the work.
Right.
Do you have knee pain? Strengthening your butt can help. Methodist Health Systems, what up, Omaha Health? Your glute muscles create pelvic stability, which is especially important when your lower extremities function in a closed chain. So for example, if you twist your ankle, you can have imbalances at the knee, further up in the leg, because you have your base isn't steady. So if your base isn't steady, the rest of the structure is going to be a little wobbly. That's how it works. It's not just science, it's engineering, it's fucking... There's a whole lot more to it. Physics, probably even, I don't know, maybe even some chemistry. Who fucking knows?
Right.
But the same thing can happen with instability that starts at your hip. So you're solid up to the hip, but if your hip is off, then your back's going to be off and your shoulders are going to be off and your neck's going to hurt and you might have a headache. Like these things all stack up. So when we talk about, energy leaks and your posterior chain and all of these things, again, if you haven't read the book Becoming a Supple Leopard, this is why we love that book so much, because they do a really good job of taking all of the scientific confusing shit and explaining it in a way that a normal person that goes to the gym can understand.
Yeah, for sure.
You might have to Google a few things every now and then, but that's okay. That's why Google's there. We have smartphones.
Exactly.
Supercomputer in your pocket. Use it to look up more than cat pictures.
Yeah.
But so that instability can start at your hip and then it can lead to excessive force on your knee, your ankle, your foot, because again, it's all off balance. When you have one leak in the system, everything's off whack.
Yeah, for sure. That same article continues to say instability at the hip can cause your femur to turn too far inwards, causing your kneecap to slip out of place as your leg bends and straightens. Have had this problem with squatting. It's called lateral patellar tracking and is a common source of pain for many people.
This is why we tell you to push your knees out when you're standing up a squat, because when your hip collapses, so does your leg that goes under your hip and then your knee and your ankle and all of that shit. You don't want to collapse when you've got a barbell on your back.
You've seen folks who have probably need to work on form a little bit. There's going to be some natural knee cave as you're adding weight, but it shouldn't be so much so that your knees are touching. That's a big indicator to you if you're filming your stuff that you should be probably backing off of weight and focusing more on your form and doing butt stuff.
If you look at the front view of your squat, because you should take your squat from multiple angles, you should do one set from the back, one set from the side, one set from the front, so that you have kind of a continuity to look at things. But when you are looking at the front set of your squat videos, your form checks, you don't want your kneecap shouldn't be moving more than an inch or two inward when you stand up that squat. It should be very minimal.
Yeah.
We're not saying, pull it in 3 inches. There are certain people that you'll see on social media that don't have the best form, that claim that that's what works for them, and they can say that as long as they want until they have to have a fucking knee surgery.
Yeah. If it's pretty drastic, that's what I was saying. There might be some knee cave, but it shouldn't be so extreme that your knees are almost touching.
And you've heard us say it before. There's an acceptable amount of form breakdown.
Yes,
There's always an acceptable amount of form breakdown, especially if you're doing 1-rep maxes or you're, going for heavier weights than you're used to. It's going to happen, but you need to make sure. That's why we're so fucking hell-bent on pounding in the fundamentals, because when you do have those tiny natural form breakdowns that happen when you're doing these weight range things, that the rest of the system is good. So it's not going to fuck up the rest of what you're doing just because your knee caved in 1.5 inches.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is why, fundamentals are so fucking important when it comes to not only athletics, but weightlifting too, because it's strength sports. It's still sports. You're still an athlete. You're still training for something. Always make sure that you have a solid base, and that's so fucking important. Yeah. And if you have any questions, please don't ask the masses on social media. If you're going to go somewhere and ask people for free advice, at least go to Reddit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's where a lot of personal trainers, we hang out and do pro bono work on Reddit every now and then if we're feeling like it. So you could at least get a decent answer. Don't fucking go to TikTok. Don't fucking go to Instagram. Twitter is whatever. I mean, everybody just wants to argue with everyone just for saying that the fucking sky is blue and the sun is shining on Twitter. So don't go there either. But quit asking the wrong people for advice. Yeah. Please quit asking the wrong people for advice. And on the flip side, if you're giving advice and it's wrong, quit fucking giving people wrong advice, you shit brain. Jesus, what are you doing? At some point, this is going to bite people in the ass on social media, and I can't fucking wait for it, because credibility fucking matters, and you hear us talk about it all the time. We are trained professional broadcasters. We actually know what journalistic integrity is. We fucking care about that shit. Some fucking influencer with 1.5 million followers on TikTok, they don't care. They just care that they're getting an instant payday and that they're famous. Yeah. Sorry. Unpopular opinions on Maine. Don't give a shit.
They care about interaction on their posts so that they can hopefully make a few bucks.
They are all about that.
Yeah. Just ask. You can just send us an email.
hello@meatheadtestkitchen.com. Please, for the love of God, we will give you that advice for free if I have to, if it means that you're not going to get hurt.
Yes. Yes.
If you're a runner, we mentioned this before, if you're a runner, you should be concerned with building your glutes. So your butt helps move you forward during running by creating that explosive hip extension. This is essential for acceleration, jumping, heavy lifting, and if your glutes get weak, you might find yourself less powerful and less efficient.
Yeah. I have noticed, and this is one thing that I don't particularly love about what I'm training for right now, because I'm more concerned, I guess, with my pace and my time at this point in time. And so I haven't been strength training as much, and I don't like it.
Yeah, but race day's next week, so you're good.
And then 2 weeks after that.
Yeah, so then you're done.
But the one thing I'm going to make sure that I get in every week is doing some squats, doing some kind of leg extent, doing some butt stuff.
Butt stuff.
And it's usually going to be squats or deadlifts. And obviously the weight comes down, but I am not concerned about it, but want to make sure that that's a priority for me because of what Sadie just said.
So you're programming in probably squats, lunges, hip thrusters. What else are you going to be doing?
That's pretty much it right now.
Yeah, those are the main.
And then it's full body and accessory stuff, mobility.
Speaking of growing your ass, let's grow yours.
Yes. There are a great many ways that you can build a badonkadonk. Oh. And people online have all kinds of opinions about what's best for growing an ass, so let's go down the list. Hip thrusters are one of the most effective exercises when it comes to growing your glutes. They mainly target the Gluteus Maximus, which is the largest muscle in your glutes, like we mentioned earlier. When your glutes are in full hip extension, they are proven to be most activated, which is why hip thrusters are so effective.
Think about it. Hump the air for a second and feel your ass cheeks clench when you do that. So notice we said full hip extension. That means that you are making a straight line with your trunk at the top of the movement. Don't overextend. Don't give that hip thrust any extra flair. You don't get bonus points or extra credit or style points for any of that shit. You don't get any benefit and you can hurt yourself. Please don't do that.
It should literally be a 90-degree angle where your knees.
And then your trunk should be a straight line to the bench.
Yep.
You should be another bench.
And tuck your chin.
Yes.
Quit doing the back, throwing your head back at the bench. Tuck your chin and just lift your butt.
You'll notice that you'll feel a lot more strength in your movement because your neck's not all fucked up and in a weird angle.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it helps keep the line.
Yep. I mean, think about it with a squat too. You want to keep your chin down in a squat, and any variation of those. I mean, you know how much we fucking love squats. You could do the devil themselves, Bulgarian split squats. You could do jump squats. You could do Zerker squats. We don't really give a shit. Compound movements, they're all good. We don't really care. Make it work to however you want to make it work, whatever sounds good for you, whatever fits your capability level. Because again, everyone else has different abilities.
Yes.
My squats are going to look different than Sasha's going to look different than yours. Right now, I'm barely doing air squats. I can't even do a full air squat yet. I'm still doing box squats with 15 pounds. Like,
hey,
Sasha's squatting probably, I don't know, like 175 when you're doing heavy day.
Not right now.
Well, when you were.
You were,
yeah. But like, you know.
Can't wait to work back up to that. Be sore all the fucking time.
I know, right? God damn. I can't wait for those days. I'm going to have to come train in the garage with you when it gets cold because I'm not training in my garage because I don't have heat. But like you want that butt that can knock stuff off shelves, then do your squats. See also deadlifts. Any variety. Do those too.
Yes, for sure. Also lunges. Lunges straighten the leg. I can't. I can't even say I can't talk today. That's how bad it is. It's been a day, okay, if I'm being fully transparent. Fuck. Ooh, I don't know if I said an F-bomb yet. Okay, I feel much better now. Thank you. I don't know,
but we've said ass like 75 times, and whoever's working is probably making a tally outside the door, right? Pat's probably standing out there. 3, 4, 5.
So thank you for bearing with that. I don't know what just happened. Anyway, lunges strengthen the leg muscles, primarily the gluteus maximus, hamstrings, quads, and calves. And just like squats and deadlifts, we don't care what kind you do. They're all fucking great.
Yes.
Do what works best for you.
Yes, they are all good.
We have a whole list. We have a list on our website somewhere of all of the leg movements and lunges and shit that we love.
Yeah.
So glute pull-throughs are a compound exercise that work your hamstrings, gluteus maximus, and lower back muscles.
Yes.
I really love those.
They are good, and they do require you to have a couple pieces of equipment, but they're important to help you learn hip hinge if you struggle with that in your lifting, which TLDR, a lot of people do. Teaching people to hip hinge is really hard as someone that didn't really have the ability to do it like when I started naturally. It took a lot of fucking work. It was really frustrating, really annoying. Hip hinge. So do your glute pull-throughs. That will help. It's also going to help with your hip extension and your barbell contact at the crotch when you're doing your Olympic lifts. So if you're pulling that snatch or that clean, you get to the crotch territory and you've got to start shifting that momentum, pop your crotch and go do the thing. So this is also where glute pull-throughs are a great accessory piece. Another great accessory piece that gets demonized, I think unduly just because people depend on them too much, is the glute kickback. AKA donkey kicks. You can do them with a machine. You can do them without. I like to do them with a machine. You can use a cable machine. There's an actual glute kickback machine. You can strap a fucking barbell to your ankle or dumbbell to your ankle rather. I mean, strap a barbell to your ankle. See how that goes.
You can use bands too.
Yeah, you can do banded kickbacks. Like there's a bazillion different ways that you can do them. But they work by isolating your gluteus, all of them, all three of them, maximus, minimus, and medius, while engaging them through a weighted donkey kick. So you can do the movement, but if you put more on there and you go slower, you'll really feel your butt cheek activate and feel that push, which is important to feel. And this is why I think they're great. They teach you how to know when your ass is activated.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's important.
It is. These are all great movements for anyone with, what the fuck is that?
Nalgas. Spanish. It's Spanish for ass. We had to throw some Spanish in there. Sorry.
What she said, but I took 4 years of fucking Spanish in high school, and I graduated high school 20 years ago.
Spanish word, and you got it this episode.
I know. Like, talk to me. Any dirty word I know because I worked in kitchens before, but other than that, I don't remember. I didn't retain a fucking thing.
Nalgas,
and
culo.
Nalgas wasn't cool.
Culo
I would have known culo.
Culo is ass. Pero nalgas is the PC version of culo. So
welcome to the second time I've fucked this episode up.
Sadie teaches Sasha Spanish on Meathead Test Kitchen. Welcome to the best fitness podcast run by idiots.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay, so these are great accessory movements for anyone with nalgas.
Yes.
But don't be like those people you see at the gym who make that their only thing.
Yeah. The sun
That's
does not just
only
revolve
glute
around glute kickbacks.
Yes.
Please do more than glute kickbacks. At least do a box step up every now and then. You can do them weighted, you can do them unweighted. The box can be tall, the box can be short. It's going to depend on what your range of motion and your capabilities are at the time.
I have a love-hate relationship with box step ups.
I do too, because they're a unilateral movement, which is awesome because it makes sure that all your imbalances are balanced, but also it means that you get to do the fucking thing twice. Because you get to do it on one side,
sometimes
you get to do it
depending
on the other side.
on my mood, if it says 10,
you just do 5
I'm
and 5.
doing 5 and 5.
Been there. You know it's supposed to be 10 and 10 and total of 20, but that motherfucker says 10. I'm doing 10 total.
But it's an AMRAP, so I'm just gonna do 5 and 5 because I want.
Fuck it, we'll go live. But yeah, no, they're good for building symmetry. They're great for your balance, especially if you're doing weighted ones. They're good for like building explosive strength because you can work on your launch when you go up on the box. It's really good for your coordination because if you've never done one before, you have to coordinate which hand is like going while you're pushing so that you get the best, so that you don't fall over the box because you don't have enough momentum.
That's not fun.
It sucks. It hurts if you don't have a soft box, which thankfully I do.
I have a wooden one, so luckily
fall into
I butted
mine
it
all
up
the time.
against the wall though. So like if I fall forward, I was
doesn't.
gonna push
the wall.
myself off. You know,
You're just gonna smash your face into the wall instead of falling on the concrete.
If I ever come with any like cuts and bruises on my face, it's because I was doing those. Or probably box jumps more likely.
Dude,
for
box
falling
jumps.
forward.
Oh my god, that's another one too. But yeah, box step ups are gonna like build that strength in your glutes. They're gonna build power in your quads, your hams, your calves, in addition to your glutes. And it also builds stability in your hip, your knee, your ankle joints, which are all important things.
Yes. At the end of the day, nice asses make the world grow round, you know, and they're not just for bodybuilders.
No.
Now
not
you
at
can
all.
make your own dream of having a big muscular ass come true. Build those glutes, people. And if you have any questions, you can always hit us up at hello@meatheadtestkitchen.com. All of the show notes will be at meatheadtestkitchen.com. Follow us on social media. We're at Meathead Test Kitchen everywhere but Twitter, which is MTK Staff.
She's
also,
Meathead Sausha with a U.
Yeah, S-A-U.
S-A-U-S-H-A. I'm Meathead Sadie. We
And
talk about dumb shit on the internet all day long. Join us.
Please do. We also have merch, shop.hurrdatmedia.com. Otherwise, we also have a link to that on our website. And we have some programming.
And we're going to be dropping a new one soon that we're going to be telling you about after we get done with this market-to-market race this weekend. It's going to be awesome. But, yeah, it's called Momentum. It's a running plan, and Sausha helmed this one, so I'm super excited for you to drop
Which is why it's taking so fucking long.
baby's first training templates.
Between training and work.
I know, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Oof.
Just send it to me, and I'll do all the fucking formatting. At least I'll do that part.
Okay.
But yeah, we're going to drop that soon. We've got 3 programs right now if you're into lifting weights. We've got Foundation, which is for beginners to intermediate lifters. We've got Bulletproof, which is for intermediate to experienced lifters. And we've got Harder to Kill, which is pretty much made for experienced strength athletes and CrossFit athletes. It'll kick your ass.
Yeah.
It's not for the faint of heart.
No, it's not.
Be nice to each other. Tell somebody that they look nice today. Meathead Test Kitchen. Out.
Join Sadie and Sausha every Monday, helping to make your fitness and nutrition journey suck less. MTK.